Hey, what's up guys? So welcome to the channel. If you're new, I hope you like the content. Also, I've had a lot of people reaching out to me saying they've seen the vlog, people I didn't even know had seen it, giving me nothing but positive, feedback and support. So thank you guys, I really do appreciate it. And today we have a swinging session. I'm gonna teach you what not to do in a 1-3 no limit hold'em game. Yeah, I get kind of crazy, I make some bad plays, but that happens. Sometimes you do things, sometimes you go on tilt, and I'm gonna show you guys what not to do, and also maybe give you some tips on things on what to do. But with all that being said, let's get into those poker hands. All right, guys, so we look down and see a king, queen of the suited variety. A very nice hand, definitely one of the nicer ones you're gonna see throughout this vlog today. Yeah, so anyways, raise it up to $10. Gets around to the button he calls, small blind calls as well. We are going three ways to this flop, which is the bank 10-5 king. That's right, flop top pair with a queen kicker. That is good enough for me for when it is checked to bet out around $20. That's 2/3 pot. I feel like that's a good bet. Also, it's a draw heavy board, so I'm gonna be sizing up. Also, there's only $30 in the pot, and I kind of want to build this pot to get some people all in. Button makes a call, small blind folds, and we're going heads up to this turn. I do not want to see a club. 3 of diamonds is a pretty safe card for me. So when I look over the opponent's stack and he has around $80 left, I decide the only bet sizing that makes sense is to put them all in for his $82, considering there's only 70 in the pot. He makes the call. We discuss what we like to do. This player likes to run it once, so of course that is fine with me. We can rip it. He asks me what I have. I tell him I have a king queen. He says that I'm not good. I don't believe him, and if I'm not good, then he's getting his double up. I mean, I'm not folding king queen on this board. Like, I'm afraid 10s, 5s, king 10, that's about it. Boom, 6 of hearts comes off. He shows he had ace 6 of clubs, so he was joking with us. We fade the ace, we fade the flush draw, and we win the very first hand of the night. Feels good. Wish I could say the rest of the night went like this, but sadly it does not. All right, guys, this is the second hand of the night. Look down and see 5, 6 of hearts. Now, my girlfriend watches these. Baby, first and foremost, if you're watching right now, I love you. I do. But this is a time where you should just turn off the phone. You don't have to watch this vlog. You can watch another one. Okay? I mean, like, just when's this release? On Wednesday? All right, on Wednesday my phone may be broken. Okay, so don't bother texting or anything like that. I'm probably gonna be busy. Back to a poker hand. Hijack bets $20. Ha ha ha. You think that's enough to get people to fold? Cutoff calls. The button decides he is going to make the call as well. Small blind gets out of the way. Action's on me. Of course, I am calling. Come on, guys. It wouldn't be in the vlog if I didn't. Under the gun calls, and under the gun +1 calls as well. So we're going 6 ways to a $120 pot. Flop comes out and is ace, queen, jack with 2 hearts. We flop the flush draw. Action checks around to the original razor, which I think it should on a board like this. I don't think you should lead out into them. He decides he's going to bet $60, and that does get some folds, but not before the button player checks his cards, decides that $60 is in fact not enough for this particular board. And he decides he's going to stack up his chips, not go all in. I think all in would be the move here, but he does not go all in. If he goes all in, maybe I get out of here. I don't know. But he didn't go all in. He just min clicks it to 120 after he gets all of his chips in order. Look at this. Look at this min click right here. That's a min click. Anyways, he gets it up to 120. I do decide to go all in over the top here because I just feel like if I hit this flush, I'm good, and I'm in gamble mode. So I go all in for 285. I feel like the pot justifies it. I feel like there's enough money in there with the original player who bet 60. I think he's calling. He's an action player. I don't think he's folding if he has like ace king, ace queen, like 2 pair, anything like that. He does in fact call the 285, and the button player goes all in for his remaining $70. There's $880 in this pot, and we're in desperate need of a heart. The hijack player flips over his cards, lets us know that we all
all of us are in fact behind because he has King 10 and he flopped Broadway, the nuts right now. His hand is vulnerable though because like I said, I had the hearts. That's him. Justin is his name. Great guy. If you saw the previous vlogs, he's the guy that we did $1,000 all in blind with. Well, he went all in blind. I looked down and I saw double suited aces in Omaha. If you guys want to check that out, go check out that vlog to see what happened there. But this is a new hand. This is a new day, and this is going to have its own separate outcome. 5-6 of hearts. Dealer's getting all of the pots right. Stack up my money. That's right. Come on. Put on my... Oh, it's beautiful. $880, man. Not too bad for a 1-2 game. So, dealer finally does get the cards right. The button player never shows his cards. He just let us know in his words. These were his exact words. He said, right now I'm sucking hind tit. That's what he said. So, I'm not worried about the button player having a larger flush, which was my original concern. Luckily, he does not. And we're looking for a red card. Bank, 6 of diamonds. It's red, not the right red. And then the 9 of diamonds. Another red card, but not the right card. Oh, this $880 pot is going the opponent's way, and I am reloading for $300. All right, guys, on to the next hand. There's a $5 and $10 button straddle for an Omaha hand, but just so you guys know, 78% of you are not subscribed yet. 22% are. We're almost at 25%. So if you could, you're new to the channel, you enjoy the content, drop a sub down below. It's free to do, doesn't cost you anything, plus it helps the channel out a ton. Now, let's get back to this poker hand and see how this PLO hand unfolds. All right, guys, so if you did drop that sub, thank you. I'm sure you will have all the luck on the poker table and never run bad or play bad like myself. Action gets around to me. We have a few callers in here. I decided to raise it up to 40. With this particular hand, ace, 4, deuce, 3, I don't really think it's worthy of a raise. I was just in gamble mode and doing dumb things, clicking buttons. If you have this hand in PLO, you have 3 clubs. That blocks a lot of your outs. You have a good wheel draw, but that's about it, Other than that, it's not too good. Anyways, it's what I did. This is where I'm at. Let's see how the hand unfolds. Button doesn't make the call. Hijack makes the call as well, and so did the middle position player. So we are going 4 ways to this flop, which doesn't come out too bad. Comes out 5 king king with 2 clubs. So we flop a flush draw, and if we could use 3, we would have very close to a steel wheel. Unfortunately, we can't. That's not how the game works. You can only use 2 cards out of your hand. Rather, you must use 2 cards and then 3 cards on the board to make the best 5-card hand. Action checks to me. I decide to bet $100. I feel like this will get folds from pretty much anything other than a king, and since action was so passive, I feel like it's okay to take a stab at it every now and then. With that being said, action gets back to the hijack player. He goes all in for 270. I'm putting it up there right now. After he does this, there's $530 in the pot, and it's only $170 more for me to call. So I feel like I'm kind of priced in and I can't fold. So I do make the call. I think he has a king. I'm just praying he doesn't already have a boat and have me drawing dead. That would be horrendous. So I make the call for another 170. There's 700 in there. We discuss how many times to go. We agree on 2. And at this point, he says he has a king, but he's not boated up. So Queen of Hearts comes on top, then the 8 of Hearts. That's unfortunate. 5 of Spades and the 5 of Diamonds. So there are trip 5s. I don't even have a pair because a pair would win me the bottom board. Unfortunately, he has Ace King, and he ends up scooping the entire pot. If I just had a pair, if I like those deuces were paired or the 3s or something. Unfortunately, they weren't. And like I said, I think I could have played this a little more slow, save myself some money, but unfortunately I didn't. This is where I'm at, and now I am reloading for another 400. That's right. We are only 3 hands in and already in the game for $1,000. Let's move on to the next one. Hopefully we can turn this around. All right, guys, for the next hand, I look down and see a Jack 9 of clubs. I do have a $5 straddle out. The person to my left had called. Cutoff raised it up to 20. The small blind call, I call, and then the middle position goes all in for 155 very aggressively. Cutoff decides he is going to make the call. I'm waiting on the small blind. I have around $300 in my stack, and I'm pretty sure that once he folds, I'm going to go all in. So that's what I decided to do. I go all in for 300 over the top. Cutoff player gets a count, says he is going to make the call. So we are going 3 ways to a board with a lot of money, and no one's seen a flop yet. Oh, and by the way, did I mention I have Jack high? Yeah. Degeneracy at its finest here. Definitely not my shining moment in poker. Pretty much everything in this vlog you should not do is what I'm trying to tell you. The first hand where I missed the flush, okay, it is what it is. Gamble, not a big deal. That was worth the gamble. The Omaha hand, that was just dumb. $755 in this pot, and it comes out deuce ace 5. Yep. Feel like I'm drawn dead. Turn comes 6 of clubs. In the river is the 7 of diamonds. $755 one more time for you guys. In this pot, I announce I can't win. The opponent in the cutoff says he has queen high. I said that beats me for the side pot. And the player in middle position wins $755 with king high. Yeah, you know you want to come to this game. Anyways, reload for $500 in the game now for $1,500, and I promise you there will be real poker being played from here on out. On to the next hand. All right, guys, look down at the next hand, and I see pocket aces, the best hand in poker. Raise it up to $15. This is it. This is my hand. This is where I get it all back. You know, you ever look down and see pocket aces at the most action table you've ever been on in the entire world and just feel like, okay, I have a chance to get out of the trap. One by one, everyone folds. Yep, didn't get a single caller, raising to 15 with pocket aces. On to the next hand. All right, guys, so normally, just so you know, I do 3 bullets for whatever game I go into. It doesn't matter what the buy-in is. If it's, you know, my buy-in is normally 300, I normally do 3 bullets. If it's 1,000, I do 3 bullets. If it's 100, yada, yada, you get it. So with this game, I'm in for 4 bullets. I do that every now and then, very seldom, but I know I was playing on tilt. I know I was playing poorly, and I thought I could turn it around. Hence why I got in for my 4th bullet. That being said, this is going to be my final bullet, so hopefully I can turn it around. I raise up to 15, middle position, min clicks me to 30, the button calls, and when action gets back around to me, I think that it needs to be juiced up just a little bit more, so I make it $110. I do this because I only got min clicked and called, so I feel like they're not that strong. They probably have a milling pocket pair, something like that. The middle position player calls, and the button eventually does decide that this is a little bit too much. It is a large pot already. So he decides to fold, and we will be going heads up to this flop. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. We really need to hit this, okay? I need something going in the right direction. Everything's been going so south that I really need to hit. Dealer, please, one time. Flop comes out, and it is the bink 5 ace 7 with 2 spades. We flop top pair with a decent kicker, and that is good enough for me. Considering it's heads up and I'm first to act, I think, you know, a smaller bet is in order. That way it could keep his smaller pocket pairs. I feel like if he had ace king, he would have gone over the top all in pre-flop. So I lead out for $100 with $250 in the pot. Like I said, I think he can keep some of those pocket pairs around. Also, to go back a little bit, the reason why I brought up how many times I buy into a game, because I think bankroll management is very important in poker, and it's something that I think a lot of people struggle with. Now, with me, this game is within my means and limit to play, even with this 4th buy-in. That being said, I am treating money like it's nothing this vlog, and you know, I kind of didn't want to post it because of that, because I'm being so foolish with it and, you know, just doing plays that I know are bad. With that being said, the player does finally make the fold, and we're finally heading in the right direction. Scooping in this $250 pot, nothing compared to the $700, $800, you know, massive pots we played. But after all these losses, it definitely feels good to get some momentum on our side. With that being said, we're going to be playing real poker moving forward. On to the next hand. All right, guys, for the next hand, we look down and see King Queen offsuit. There's a $5 button straddle, hopefully making it 2 wins in a row. That would be amazing, and something I feel like I haven't done all night. That being said, action does get around to me. I decide to raise it up to $30. The player to my left decides to go all in for $195. That is a massive 3-bet. So when action folds back around to me once again, I'm putting him on a middling pocket pair, and I'm willing to do a 50-50 flip. So I make the call. The dealer lets me know the actual amount, which, like I said before, is $195. So I'll throw in the correct chips. He throws me $5 back. We discuss how many times we would like to go. He said he would like to go twice. I asked him 2 boards or flop twice. He announces flop twice is good for him. So hoping to spike a king or queen because he did let me know that he in fact has pocket tens. Flop comes out. Ace king 9. That's right. We flop the king. The turns and rivers on both boards are inconsequential. There are aces on each of them, but the king holds up and we crack his pocket tens, taking down a $395 pot and once again heading in the right direction. Let's keep it going and move on to the next hand. All right, guys, in this next hand, look down and see Queen 10 offsuit. Now, I will be the first to say that at this point, I am stuck trying to get out the trap, so I'm playing a little more loose. I raise it up to 15. I think you can just quite frankly fold Queen 10 offsuit here. That being said, I decided to raise. Mill position re-raises it up to $40. Then it gets around to the hijack player and he decides he is going to play as well. So he makes the call. Action goes to the small blind player and he decides he wants to gamble with us as well. So he calls, and at this point, I feel like I'm getting the right price to call and maybe bink 2 pair, trips, a straight, anything like that. So it's not that much more. There's already 120 in the pot. So I decided to call. Once again, this is why you don't raise or play Queen 10 in this position. But regardless, this is where I'm at. Flop comes out Jack Queen 6 with 3 diamonds. So we flop top pair with a 10 high flush draw. Action checks around to the hijack player who bets $50, about 1/3 pot. I feel with top pair, I can't quite fold just yet. So I make the call. Mill position player makes the call as well. That small blind player, he decided to fold. So now we are going 3 ways to the turn. And honestly, I'm just in the dark right now. I don't know if I'm already up against a flush, a better queen, 2 pair. I have no idea. And once again, this goes back to this is why you don't play Queen 10 offsuit. You are very much in the weeds. I'm out of position. I don't know where I am. So all I can do is check and maybe call and hope I'm ahead. So that's what I do. I check. It checks around to the hijack player. He checks it as well. And the bink 7 of diamonds comes on the river. So now we have a 10 high flush. Still not something I want to bet into 2 players. So I check it. Hijack goes all in for $250. Queen 10 offsuit, man. Right now I'm sitting with the 3rd nut flush. Ace high, king high both beat me. And all I have is a bluff catcher at this point. I do have the mill position player that I have to watch out for as well. So I think in this spot with the 4th diamond, it is just a sigh, moan, and fold. Lost too much money this hand that I really didn't need to. Should have just folded this pre-flop. Definitely shouldn't have raised and just juiced up the pot. That being said, the mill position player who made it $40, I do think we were ahead of him. I have no idea what he had, but I think if he has better than, you know, Queen 10, he would have bet again on the flop, or if he has better than a 10 high flush, he would have called. The hijack player did end up showing pocket aces though with the ace of diamonds, so he had the nut flush and was ahead with aces anyways. With all that being said, don't play Queen 10 offsuit, and on to the next hand. All right, so upgrading from Queen 10 offsuit, we're going to go to pocket tens. Definitely a hand that is easier to play than Queen 10 offsuit for the most part. That being said, there's a $5 button straddle. We get the mill position player down there to call. Mill position +1 calls. It gets around to the cutoff. He decides to call as well. Button folds. Small blind eventually does make the fold, and it gets back to me. Now with pocket tens and this many callers, since I'm out of position, I will be raising and pricing up when I raise here, especially with 4 people already calling. I feel like 30 is a good amount. Under the gun player who did make the straddle ends up making the call for $30. Once I get back to the mill position player, he decides he's going to fold. The other mill position player folds as well. And then eventually the cutoff folds as well. So we're only going heads up to this flop instead of going 5 ways, which is why you raise. You don't want to let those questionable, marginable hands in when you have a premium like pocket tens. You want to thin the field. That being said, flop comes out and is 3-4 queen. I am not too scared of this flop. If he has a queen, I'm going to find out very soon. So I lead out for $45. He is shuffling his chips, and once again, I don't feel, considering this board is so dry, it's queen 3-4 rainbow. I mean, there's not many hands he can have here, right? He can have 5-6 suited. He can have a ton of queens. Don't get me wrong. Ace queen, I think he probably re-raises my 30, but I don't know if he's just trying to play tight and snug right now. King queen I think will call. Queen jack I think calls. Those don't have to raise. Every now and then I think king queen raises, but other than that, he really doesn't have a lot of hands. Queen 10's not in there. Queen 10 suited, I mean, what? There's one combination of that. Queen 10 of hearts, that's it. I don't think he's playing Queen 10 offsuit because he's not as bad of a player as I am. He knows better than that. With all that being said, after this ginormously long tank, I mean, this thing took forever, I felt like. I don't know why. Maybe I was just being impatient. I'm sure there's other stuff going on. But with that being said, after he tanks this long, I don't think he has a set of fours. I don't think he has a set of threes. I don't think he has a queen. I think he has a middling pocket pair like myself, probably sixes, sevens, eights, nines, something like that, and he's just deciding what he wants to do. With that being said, he does make the call, and the turn comes the 9 of hearts. So hopefully he doesn't have the pocket nines now because, yeah, that would be a little scary. With that being said, I still don't think he has a queen. No need for me to slow down. I bet 100, and he snap calls. He freaking snap called. Like, I think it has money in before me. When the queen of spades comes on the river, the only hand I'm really worried about now is pocket nines, and if he had that, I don't think he's snap calling. I think he's probably raising me on the turn. So I decided to put him all in for his remaining $100. There's 365 in the middle. So 100 is not really that large of a bet considering how much money he has already put in. But for some reason, we once again find ourselves in the tank. Now, he goes into the tank for a long time. And at this point, we're kind of talking. It's heads up so you can talk, you know. If there's multiple people in the hand, guys, if you're not familiar with poker, it's customary just kind of be quiet. Let the people in the hand speak. Don't speak if you're not in the hand. You will be giving away information. It's just not cool. It's not the right thing to do if you're not in the hand. Just be quiet and wait for the hand to end. That's all you got to do. You'll be in the hand soon enough. So he and I are talking since we're in the hand. He's a good guy. He's a friend. He's like, I don't know what you have. And I said, look, because I don't really know what he has at this point. I'm not going to lie, but I don't think he has a queen. I don't think he has, obviously he doesn't have pocket nines. He would have snapped me off. So I'm telling him, could he have pocket jacks in this spot? I think it's possible, but I do think he would lean towards a call. So I tell him, I say, hey man, I can't tell you anything more than this. I think I'm ahead right now. If you were ahead, I think you would have already called. But that's kind of all the information I can give you, because if somehow he does have pocket jacks and I just have a bad read, I would feel bad for making him fold the winning hand. I do end up showing him after he folds. I show him that I had the pocket tens. He said I was good, so I didn't ask what he had, but I do think it was like sixes, sevens, eights, something like that. Either way, taking down $365 and on to the next hand. So for our next hand, look down and see 7-8 suited, a very beautiful hand and one I definitely like raising with. So when action gets back around to me finally after everyone limps in and calls $2, people like to limp on this table. Not me though. I'm not a limpy kind of guy. I'm a raise it up kind of guy. Anyways, I don't know. Probably demonetized. I'm not even monetized, so that's irrelevant. But with all that being said, once action does get to me, I decide to raise it up to the standard $15 when I am stuck at this point, because I got to build these pots. Still trying to get out the trap, getting closer, but not quite there yet. That being said, as soon as I make it 15, the cutoff decides to re-raise me to 45. That does cause a cascade of folding until it gets back around to me. 7-8 suited, I think, is one of those hands that, you know, you'd rather see multiple ways, because this is a hand that can bink and hit a lot of people. I don't think it's the best heads up hand, but, you know, once again, I'm stuck, so I want to see flops. I give it a call, and we're going heads up to the flop, which is the bink. That's right, 7 deuce 8 with 2 clubs. I flop top 2 pair. Naturally, I check to the pre-flop aggressor. He checks behind, and the turn is the 10 of clubs. Not the best turn in the deck, obviously, but it isn't scary enough to where I don't think I should lead out. So I bet $50. He pretty much snap calls me, and the river comes to 3 of spades. He didn't raise, so I don't think he has a flush. I lead out for another $50. Very much a milky number. That way I can keep him in with, you know, ace 10, things like that. Hands that bink the 10 and can't really fold for 50. I think it's a good price because it is a scary board. With that being said, he does make the call. I never find out what he has because I show that I have 2 pair. He says that I'm good, mucks his cards, and taking down a $290 pot. Let's go. All right, moving on from 7-8 suited to pocket jacks. That's right, we got jacks, one of the best hands in poker. Everyone hates to play. But I'm not most people. There's a $5 button straddle. We get some callers. Action gets around to me. I raise it up to $30 because, once again, pocket jacks. Need I say more? I mean, come on, man. Cutoff decides he wants to gamble with us. He makes the call. Action folds around to the big blind player, and he decides to put in the chips as well. So we will be going 3 ways to this flop with pocket jacks. Hopefully we don't see any overs, and hopefully we can have a nice, safe, clean board. When the flop comes out, and it is 3, 6, 5 rainbow, I'd say it's a pretty decent board for jacks. Kind of scary. There are some straight possibilities. There are some, I mean, sets, I guess. 30 bucks pre-flop I feel like would push off most of these. But anyways, could be sets, could be straights. That being said, can't be worried about monsters under the bed, so I bet $70. It does get the cutoff player to fold. Big blind player, though, is getting a little sticky, and he decides to put in the call. Now, because I went so large on the flop there, I'm already made it up in my mind. I'm checking back pretty much 90% of turns. Unless it turns a jack, I'm pretty much checking back because I want to do some pot control. You know, he may have us beat here. You know, if a over came over like the Queen of Spades just did, or a king or an ace, he may have us beat. So the turn does go, in fact, check, check. There's 235 in the pot, and when the 6 of diamonds comes on the river, I feel like it's not a horrible card. I mean, if he had ace 6 and now he has trips, sure, he's beating us. He's ahead now. But then he decides to lead out for 150 bucks, and whew, I'm in the blender, okay? There's $385 in the pot, and it's only 150 for me to call to figure out what he has. And I've got to be honest, I don't know of a 6 in his hand that costs 30 pre-flop. I also don't know what calls on the flop, checks turn, and then leads river. So, I mean, I guess he could have like 6-4 here, but I don't see him calling 30 pre-flop with 6-4. He's not that type of player, right? That's something I would do, but he wouldn't do that. So that's not on the table. 6-7 maybe, 6-7 suited maybe calls, but once again, I don't think he's calling 30 with 6-7. This is a guy who plays premiums, all right? So I don't know what he has that floats the flop. Ace, queen, but then why check river? I am very much in the blender, and I have no idea what he has. I'm very confused. I guess he could have pocket 5s that boats up, maybe. That's the most likely hand that I can think of. But I can't figure this one out. And guys, when I can't figure it out, I lean towards making a call. So that's what I did. $535 pot. You can see I'm already ready to muck my hand because I know he has me beat. I just don't know what the hell he has. And when he flips over pocket 6s for quads, all of a sudden, this hand makes a little more sense. Unfortunately, lost to quads, but moving on to the final hand of the night, and hopefully can get some money back, get out of this trap we're in, and make some money. On to the final hand. For the final hand, we are playing Pot Limit Omaha. I do have a $5 button straddle. The player to my left just reloaded in chips. He is doing a $10 straddle. His chips have not quite yet arrived. That's why you do not see the straddle. But trust me, it is out there. He has announced it, and it is in play. Middle position calls it $10. The other player folds, goes around to the cutoff player. He decides he's going to play as well, throws in $10. And guys, I got to tell you, this hand gets out of control quick. Hijack calls as well, gets around to the button player. I'm sorry, reverse that. Hijack called, then the cutoff called, then the button called, and then it gets to a big blind player. He calls as well. Of course, I'm calling for $5 additional. Now it gets onto a straddle player, and he says those 3 evil words. Not 3 evil words, 3-letter word. POT is what I'm trying to tell you. He pots it up to $85. Middle position player goes all in for $50. It gets back to the cutoff player. He thinks about it for a second and decides he is in this with us. He calls at $85. The hijack calls. I don't know why I keep mixing these up. The hijack calls, then the cutoff calls. The button player decides he doesn't want to play for that much, so he folds, and the big blind player calls as well, putting himself all in. Of course, I make the call to finish up the action, and man, oh man, do we have a pot. Yep. We have got, well, right now, so I'm discussing how much pot would be because I was miscounting the player who put out the chips. I was incorrect. The dealer's correct. That being said, the dealer is now getting all of the pots right. And yeah, we have 7-8 king 6 with 7-8 of clubs suited. And that's about it. So it's not looking too good for you, boy. Basically, we need to see middling to low cards so we can hit a straight, so we can hit trips, you know, maybe a full house, maybe maybe 7-8 flush gives us a straight flush. I don't know. All I know is it's a lot of money in the middle, and it is nearing the end of the night, and I am still in desperate need of getting out of the trap. So, like I said, this is going to be one of the few hands that I can get into to possibly do that. So I am definitely making this call for $85 with how many people called and how much action is in there. There's no way I'm folding. I'm just not, guys. It's not happening, okay? Let's go and see a flop. And hopefully it is going to be a good one. With that being said, the flop comes out, and it's not too bad. It's not amazing. It's not horrible, but it is 5-9-10. So essentially, we have flopped ourselves a wrap. There are 2 spades out there, which could kill some of our some of our straight draws, but I mean, we have everything here. We have 6, 7, 8 on a 5-9-10 flop. That means any 6, 7, 8 or jack or queen will give us a straight. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. I'm sorry, king, not queen. Queen won't do it, but king will. Anyways, basically what I'm telling you guys, why am I saying king will? The queen will. I'm losing my mind. Queen won't. We don't have a jack. Guys, I don't know what's happening. I'm losing my mind. All I know is 6, 7, or 8 gives us a straight, along with the jack. Jack does as well. I don't know what's happening in my brain right now. I have been editing for too long. This video is going on forever, but this is the last hand, so luckily I don't have to do anything else. With that being said, I check it. The hijack player goes all in for 220. I can't fold. I didn't want to lead out into everyone, but I also think I can't fold for 220 here. There's 915 in the pot. That is a big one. Please, dealer, come on, one time. One time, I'm going to use my one time right now. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm going to use it up right meow. You guys can use it when you want. I'm going to use it right meow. We're looking for 6, 7, or 8 with no spade and no board pair. Pretty simple, right? In Omaha, not so much. Okay, it's hard to fade all of that in Omaha. But with that being said, dealer gets all the pots right. There's 950 in the middle. So there is a main pot, guys. Main pot's $300. Just so you guys know, I didn't put it up on the screen, but I will tell you guys. Turn comes out, and it is the boom 8 of hearts, giving us the straight. Not the nut straight though. Queen Jack beats us, and then when the 7 comes on the river, oh, that's so dirty. Any Jack 9, Jack 10, Jack 8, Jack 7, all of those beat us now, along with Queen Jack. Just a horrible run at. But I flip over my cards, let the entire table know that I do in fact have a straight. I say with my chest, I got a straight. Not the best straight, but hey, it's a straight. It beats some straights, you know. It beats 4-5, beats that straight, you know. Beats 4-6. Beats some stuff. I'm sorry, yeah, 4-6. 4-5 doesn't make straight. Guys, I'm still losing my mind. 6-5 it beats. Anyways, let them know I have a straight. We do, in fact, scoop the outside pot with a player that went all in for 220. He had a set, didn't boat up, and we hit our straight. So we scoop that. We scoop the other outside pot over here, and we're taking down all these pots with like the babiest of straights. We actually do end up chopping the middle with another player. So I won 615 from the outside pots, and then I win another 150 from chopping up the main with the other player. So in total, I'm going to win $765 from this hand. And that's the final hand of the night. Not too shabby. Let's go to the outro to see how we actually did.
All right, guys. So after everything's said and done, after playing like a donkey in the beginning, after running into quads, ended up only down 400, and I'll take that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I got a clean shave. Feels good, I guess. I don't know, I kind of miss the beard, but catch you guys on the next one.